got 8 more things to do. Technology's a wonderful thing. Welcome, everybody. It is the Wednesday 12:30 class. We're back in the 1960s book, but we're just not on the right link. So, Robert, if you are listening to this, you need to get us back on the old link because I had problems getting in, and so did several other people getting into this class today. So. We're all here. That's a wonderful thing. We're in book number 366, Songs of the 1960s. We will go through the book, and today we are on song 1, which is The Temptations, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. It is on page 4. Now, if you take a look at the chords, guess what? They're easy. And that's all you're going to get. I don't have any new chords. They are what they are. Sometimes rock and roll songs and pop songs just have super easy chords. This is all pretty much C and G, to tell you the truth. There's an occasional D, and that's it. So I struggled with, how am I going to teach this song? How am I going to make this something that we can actually learn something a little bit more advanced? Well, we're going to do some presets. Now remember, you don't have to do any of these. If you find one thing that you like, all you got to do is change your presets and go, or just change a sound and play and just have a good time with it. So what do we know about this song? This was 1966. It was a hit single by The Temptations for the Motown Records Gordy label, Gordy Berry. The song peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Pop Chart, and it was number 1 on the Rhythm and Blues charts for 8 non-consecutive weeks. Interesting. Rick Astley, he covered the song in 1988, and the Rolling Stones did it for their album It's Only Rock and Roll in 1974. So interestingly enough, I didn't hear any of the versions. I had to go to YouTube and listen to the Temptations do it so I could actually learn the song myself. This is one of those songs I just didn't know. I knew a lot of Temptation songs, but not this one. All right, so how are we going to make this different, and how do you start? That's actually a good thing to do. How do you start setting up for a song like this? It says rock or 8-beat. Well, guess what? It's not really a rock song. It's not. Think of what the Temptations did. They did funk, they did Motown, they were doing gospel-y type backgrounds, bluesy type backgrounds. So that's where I actually started looking. I looked under the rhythm and blues section, and I tried sweet rhythm at 120, and that was okay. Your basic rhythm and blues is actually a Temptation signature background. So if I play it, let's see, let's get this all on. So you could actually use this background, but you want to get rid of the My Girl stuff. So if you do basic rhythm and blues, you don't want to use that introduction because it's going to introduce the wrong song. And you want to take off your Orchestra Plus. All right?
Excuse me, Dawn.
Yeah.
Where's that on RP?
Basic rhythm. I think it's called something else on, go to your song setup for My Girl.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it'll bring up whatever it is. I think it's called something different on the marquee. I think you're right.
Okay.
I didn't actually end up with this one. This is just one that you can use.
Okay.
And then I put on auto bass 2, and you want to up the tempo because this one is going to be a 120 tempo song. Okay, because that's kind of what you're looking for here. And if I go to auto bass 2, I'm just not getting the drums that I want on this. So when I go to YouTube, I'm listening for certain things. Oh, here comes Penny. Still haven't found Beverly. Beverly hasn't gotten in yet.
She'll have a fit.
We'll figure it out.
So are you being mean?
So finding the right background is one of the most important things you can do for setting up your song. So when I go to YouTube, I'm listening for certain things. What beat does the drum come on? What is the bass player doing? And I couldn't find anything that was perfect on this one. Usually I can figure something out and make it come out right. So we're going to just get close. So you can go to your basic rhythm and blues, which is your My Girl song setup, up the tempo to 120, turn off your Orchestra Plus and go to Auto Bass 2. The only thing it's got is that guitar. But that does work because that is in this song. Okay? All right, so what else did I come up with? I actually came up with a good one called Cha-Cha from Latin. Now, why would I do that? Because I was desperate. Because here, the drummer is doing exactly what I want. It's one per beat. And there's a little bit of congas in the background of this song, so Latin was one that actually worked for me. So I did go to Cha-Cha at 120. Now here's what I did do. I turned off Genie and Orc Plus. So I've just got bass and drums going. So Cha-Cha, turn off your Genie and your Orc Plus. And that actually will work. I'll just play a little bit. This is not the one I chose for the presets, by the way, but I did like this background. So that kind of gives you that beat that we're looking for, because that's one of the things I listened for was those drums on every beat. And they did have some congas in there, and they did have some horns in there. So you can do that with your backgrounds. And so that's what I was looking for. And I also did some changing of editing style. Now, if you put the Genie on with the Cha-Cha, you get this. There your horns come in. So when you've got 4 different verses, you don't want to play the same thing on every single verse, because when you've only got chords like C and G, it's going to get awful darn boring. If you're hearing the Temptations singing it and watching them dance it, it's a whole different thing. But when you're just playing it on the instrument, how do you make it exciting? So that's what we're trying to do, is find the things in the background that'll work for you. So Cha-Cha, take off Genie and Orc Plus, or Basic and Orc Plus. Remember, on the bigger organs, it's Basic and Orc Plus. And then when you get through some of your verses, then you can put your Genie back in, and it's going to add some horns. Okay, what else did I use?
You didn't by chance try this on Motown, did you?
I did, and I hated it. The first one I tried was Motown. That would have been my obvious choice. I tried it on Motown. It didn't work at all. Did not work for me at all. It gave me a completely different feel. Let's do that, okay? David's suggesting Motown. So let's go to Motown, and it actually comes up at the right speed. And it doesn't do it for this song. Now, I could actually try it with no Genie and no Orc Plus and see what it does. It's too busy. I have off Genie and Orc Plus, and it's too busy compared to what the original is. But if you like it, go ahead and use it. Is that
Maybe too much drum.
there's too much stuff going on. Yeah, it's just way too busy. And even if you go to alter style, way too much stuff. Yeah, that would be more Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or some of the other Temptation songs, but not this one. Not this one. Because if you read the lyrics, what's going on with the song? What's he actually trying to do here? This was David Ruffin. He's singing the lead on this.
Dawn, your volume went way down.
Pardon?
Your volume went way down.
It did. Okay. See, it happened the other day too.
That's for you. I made a special trip.
Oh. Is it better now?
Oh, I went
Little bit.
today because I didn't make it yesterday because you were out.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, it is.
My volume went up a little bit. Okay, it went down.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
did.
why it does that. I just had to boost it again. Wow. All right.
It's
So, what was I saying? No, if you read the lyrics, it'll kind of tell the story. So it also gives you an idea of how busy should you get it or not. I know you want to leave me. I refuse to let you go. Oh my, unrequited love. If I have to beg, plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, 'cause you mean that much to me. Ain't too proud to beg, and you know it. Please don't leave me, don't you go. Ain't too proud to plead, baby. Please don't leave me, don't go. I've heard that a crying man is half a man with no sense of pride. But if I have to cry to keep you, I don't mind weeping if it'll keep you by my side. So that's what's happening. Is she wants to go away, and he's saying, I'm not letting you go. I love you too much. If I have to sleep on your doorstep all night and day just to keep you from walking away, let your friends laugh. Even this I can stand, because I want to keep you any way I can. He's desperate. He's hooked. Yep.
He's a stalker.
Now I've got a love so deep in the pit of my heart, and each day it grows more and more. I'm not ashamed to call and plead to you, baby, if pleading keeps you from walking out that door. Wow, he's got it bad for her.
Sometimes
So-
love means letting go.
Yes, I agree with you on that. Sometimes love means saying, go find who you need to find if I'm not the right one. You're correct on that. Yep.
The guy sounds like a stalker.
Yeah. Good.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And you know what? Maybe he knew Sting too, because Sting did Every Breath You Take, which is also a stalker song. I'll be watching you. All right, so what else did we do for backgrounds here? I tried Tito's big band. Like I said, I was hearing congas, and I was hearing some horns in the background. So I went to Tito's and tried that one. Tito's big band. Let's see what that one does. Let's turn stuff off. Okay, I can live with that one. I can live with that. That's just with the basic or the genie. So these are things that you got to do when you're searching for the absolute best rhythm. You can't just turn on a rhythm and hit it and say, yeah, that one doesn't work, because it might. If the drums are right and the bass is right, you got to try both your drummers. You got to try both your bass players, and sometimes you have to turn things on and off. That includes the alter style. That includes turning on and off the genie / basic, depending on which organ you have, and the orchestra plus. Okay, then we can even get deeper than that, and we can tweak things. Now, the one I actually did the presets on is Gospel Revival. Gospel Revival is the one I actually did presets on. So I didn't really find anything exact. I didn't find anything exact enough to work with. So if you don't like how it sounds, it's okay. You don't have to. Some of you with the bigger organs, try some of your funky backgrounds. I think you might find something that would be even a little closer. But this is one where I'm doing the best I can, but we're going to learn how to turn off your basses, turn off your Genie Org Plus, turn off your drum variation, turn on and off your alter. We're also going to go into our edit style. What does edit style actually do? It goes into what the instruments actually are in your Genie and Org Plus. And it just, because sometimes your Org Plus has 3, 4, 5 different instruments all combined. And you can go in and turn them on and off, or you can actually change them and see what else you can get. So you're actually being like a true song arranger when you start getting into some of this stuff. Now again, if you like some of the other backgrounds that I gave you and it works for you, play them, just play them and enjoy the song. It is kind of a fun song to play. But let's learn how to do all this stuff on our organ. Why? Because we can. There's no chords to add, so I had to do something a little bit different. So what does gospel revival actually sound like when you just turn it on to gospel revival rhythm preset? Let's see what it does. That's the beat. That's actually the beat that you're looking for. Yeah. And there is a piano in there as well. This is what I changed it to. 366, the first song, Miss Penny. Ain't too proud to beg. So I changed it from this to this. You hearing some different things? Okay, so what did I actually do? I changed the drummer.
Dawn,
Yeah, go
Dawn,
ahead.
under gospel revival, are you on jazz piano? Or what are you on?
I'm on rhythm preset normal or vintage.
Yeah, and that says, for me, that says gospel revival rhythm preset 0 is organ plus AFC.
Yes. Yes.
Piano, I don't know.
Piano is on the bottom. When
Oh, so
you
you-
see the two things in your window
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
says organ plus AOC, that's the sound that's
Right.
on the top keyboard, and then it says / piano. That's the
Okay.
sound that's
Okay,
down
but when
here.
Okay, but when you hit your chords, I heard the piano come out.
That has nothing to do with what's in the window.
Okay, but
That's what we're going to learn today.
okay, I just want to hear the piano. I didn't hear it.
Okay, here's again, normal rhythm preset or vintage, gospel revival at 120, rhythm preset with that organ on top and piano on bottom. Remember, those are your melody sounds. Here's what it comes up just by turning it on. Okay, so you have a combination of piano, choir, and organ, and your bass and drums. How do I know that? Because if I touch the top of my screen, it's going to bring up Genie equals piano, or basic equals piano, orchestra plus 1 equals choir, and orchestra plus 2 equals organ. Now I changed it so that it sounds like this. So your Genie or basic equaling piano, you can now hear it a little bit clearer. All right. Why? Because I turned off orchestra plus 1. I took the choir and said, you're not in this, sorry. No choir. So I turned
Cool.
off the choir. How do you do that? You have 3 columns. So I touched ORC +1. And when you touch that, it'll either go on or it'll say ORC +1. It'll be off or it'll say ORC +1. Either one, right? I turned it so it's off. So now
Dawn, is this one of your presets?
this is one of my presets, yes.
Okay. All right.
Uh-huh. It's all here. It's all written down. So you'll
Okay.
know exactly how to get there.
All right. Thank you.
Orchestra +2. What was it before? It was an organ, right? It was an organ. I changed it to an electric guitar, an electric Strat guitar. And yes, it's all on here. And I just put the volume down a little bit. All right, so now I've got the piano and I've got the Strat guitar. And the Strat guitar is doing the same thing that the organ was doing before. You can't change what it does. You can only change the sound. The pattern of what that organ was doing is what you actually changed. Okay? So just because I want to throw a guitar in there, you can't tell the guitar what to do because it's going to follow whatever pattern that organ was doing. If that organ was just playing chords, then that's what the guitar is going to do. It's just going to be playing strum chords. Okay? You can't make it do something else. If you change the choir to an electric Strat, it's just going to go twang because that's the guitar. The sound dies. A choir holds the sound. Okay, so you have to be very careful as to which sounds will work for the patterns that are in here. So once again, here's what it was originally: piano, choir, and organ. Because I wanted that guitar doing that up strum. I also changed the drummer. Here's what the drummer was doing originally: clapping. So I took the clapping out. I took the clapping out by changing to a different drummer, drum variation. There you go. You're getting it. I'm going to hit the mute all. But see, these are things that just because it's this song, we're going to learn how to do it. But you might fall in love with some of the things that we're doing and go, ooh, I can do that with other songs too. Yeah. Editing style is a little more advanced. You don't have to get into any of this. That's why Lowry made presets, to keep it easy. To keep it easy. But since this is a more advanced class, and the song is so easy, and I don't have any good chords to give you, we're going to learn something hard about the organ. So that's what we're doing today. All right, so that's what I'm doing. And A1 is going to be right away at the beginning.
Dawn, I got a question.
Go ahead.
The drummer variation, did you say you took that off or put it on?
I put it on.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep. I switched
Sorry.
drummers, so I put the drum variation on.
Okay, thank you.
You're good.
Dawn, did you take off the ORC +1 also?
ORC +1 is gone. I
Right.
just turned it off.
But did you do the next one also?
ORC +2 got changed to the electric guitar.
Okay, and then
That's the one that's the sound I
Yeah.
was looking for, was
Okay.
that
so
upstroke.
you hit that and ORC +2 goes off, and then
No.
how do you get the guitar in there?
Well, you touch the organ. You have ORC +2, and then the
Yeah.
middle column you have the sound, and it says organ.
Okay,
If you touch it, it'll turn blue.
yeah,
Okay, now you go to your scroll. And it's a little tedious because you cannot do a number to put these in. You have to scroll.
okay, then you go to a guitar.
Guitar, and it'll say guitar ... electric Strat. Or if you find a different guitar that you like better, then you can find a different guitar. And the last column is numbers. And those are volumes. If it says 100, you're at full volume. I lowered the piano down to 70, and I lowered the electric guitar down to 90. So I was just rebalancing, because you change sounds, it's going to balance differently.
Dawn,
Now
is the
tomorrow I
guitar-
might listen to it again and go, ew, that doesn't sound very good. I don't like that. So A1 is actually going to be the first 2 lines and the first measure and a half of line 3.
Dawn, what tempo do you have on that?
I'm at
gospel?
120.
Okay, thanks.
Good question. Yep. When you get to the middle of that 3rd line, ain't too proud to beg, you're going to have 3 different presets, A2, A4, and A7. All right. You're also going to make a little note. I could have actually had a whole nother preset. You're going to write 3rd time add duet. I could have made another preset. I did not. So you're going to just put 3x. That means 3 time, 3rd time add duet. Or you could make a whole nother preset with that duet, and you'll see what I did in a minute. Go all the way to the next page.
Excuse me, Dawn.
Huh?
Excuse me, did you say it was A3, 4, and 7?
Nope,
A2?
2, 4, and 7.
Okay, thank you.
When you get to the second page, you see a 1-3. So the first, second, and third endings are all the same. And at the end of that first through third ending, right there at the repeat dots, you're going to put A3, A5, and A6. So that means we're going to be doing some changing. Now, if you like what this is right here, if you like what I did in A1, play the whole song that way. That works. But it would get very boring. That's the whole thing. That's the whole idea is how can I make some changes? How can I make some changes? Well, you could just do presets if you want. That'll be some great changes. Don't forget, you also have harmony changes. Yes, Sue?
On the second page, last line, where the dots are on the first measure, A3, A5, A6, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Okay,
That's
thanks.
it. Yep. Okay, so that whole first part is going to be played on what I just changed. I just put in, I just put in I'm actually on rhythm preset number 2 or vintage 2, which is a gospel organ. Doesn't matter, you could use any sound you want. And then you go in and edit your style to what we just did. And yes, that's all written down, or you can do some of your own stuff. Okay, that's A1. Let's listen to going from A1 to A2 and see if you can hear what's being changed. What's being changed? It's going to be subtle from A1 to A2.
Dawn,
Yes.
on the first page, the third line, do we start the A2 at the end of that measure? Second
No,
measure?
you started in the middle of the measure because you have to read the
That's what I
lyrics.
did. That's what I did. Okay, thanks.
Because you mean that much to me, right there, right before Ain't Too Proud to Beg, that's where you want to make that switch.
Okay.
Because that's the chorus, ain't too proud to beg, and you know it.
Right,
This is a song that I probably will never sing, sorry.
right there where the D7 chord is.
Right there where the D7 chord is, yep. All right, so here's what's going on in the background of A1. I'm going to go to A2 and I want you to listen and see if you can hear a change. Can you hear it? It's subtle.
I can hear the up, yeah.
The choir, I turned the choir back on. So you go to your edit style and you turn that orchestra plus back on. You leave everything else the way it is, and you just turn Orchestra Plus back on, Orchestra Plus 1 in your edit style. I'm also adding some harmony to my organ here. So now I'm bringing in the rest of the temps. The Temptations are going to start singing Ain't Too Proud to Beg along with them.
Beg along with it.
So I just added a country harmony. You could have added any harmony. As a matter of fact, I did add a duet one time, and if you like the country, keep it on country the whole time. That works too. So I added that country harmony. All right, so what am I doing different from A3? A3 is at the end of that first ending. We're going back to do a different verse. All right, so what am I doing this time? See if we can listen and see if we can tell. Background. Change. Turn the choir off again. So I turned my choir off again, and I'm going to add, I'm adding a piano to my upper sound. Why? Just to give it a little bit of a kick, something a little different. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so how did I do that? The piano was actually on the lower keyboard before. So all I'm doing is I'm finding where it was, and it was in orchestral number 1. And the command is telling it to go to the lower right. So all I'm going to do is tell it to go to the upper keyboard. So you got to find your orchestral number 1 and see if that's the piano that's going to the lower, and just hit upper on. So now I'm telling it to go to the upper on. So it's going to be layering with all my organ sounds. See how you are in command of where everything goes here? This is also helping you to read where those sounds are going. Now again, if this is a little bit farther than you want to go with me today, don't worry about it. Just hit a preset and play. Seriously. But for those of you that have had your organs a while and you're starting to figure things out, this is just a way for you to take command of this guy. So your red
Let me get-
orchestral 1, the piano is going to the lower already, so you don't have to scroll or put in a number or anything like that. It's already there. You're just going to tell it to go to the upper by turning upper on. And so now that is going to layer with the organ.
So Dawn,
Yeah.
the upper, when I told it to go to upper, the upper light is on, and that means it's going to be there, right?
It's going to be there. That's right.
So if
That's
it's
right.
not
All you got to do is hit upper on. Tell it where it's going.
there, hit sounds and then upper. I just hit upper. Okay.
That's it. That's it. You're just telling it that instead of going down here, it's going to go up here. Might be going down here too, but you're putting it up here, so it's going to be with that organ sound.
Okay. Why is the lower right lit?
Because it's still down here. It's still there. I'm just also telling it to go to upper.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yep. Yep, that works. Okay, you're also going to take your harmony, turn it off. So all that stuff is here. It's on here. When I get to A4, where does A4 come in? A4 comes in, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. I'm going to change the drummer just for something different. Oh, here comes Claire. Let's let her in. Okay, so again, let's listen and see if we can tell what am I doing that's a little bit different. I am going to A4. Here's A3. Here's A4. My clappers came back in, didn't they? Whoops, I just dropped my sheet. Ah! That's the drummer. So I took my drum variation off so I can have the clapping came back in. I turned my choir back on, so it's got to be the choir. They're clapping. They're having a good time. So now I'm going to change that guitar strat. I'm going to put him in a new place. Why? Shouldn't, but I did a lot of messing around here. I changed the piano to a guitar electric strat. And because I was hearing some horns in the background, I decided to put them in my Orc Plus 2. So yeah, all I'm doing is I'm touching the piano, scrolling till I get to guitar electric strat. I'm touching the guitar electric strat, and I'm scrolling until I get to brass. And I'm using the brass ensemble. It's all here. It's all here. So if you wanted to do that, you could. Then I'm going to go to my piano and where my sound was, my orchestral one, and I'm going to turn my command off. Up or on, turn it off. Send them back down here. You don't want them in this verse. Okay? And then I'm going to turn on some harmony too. Why? Just because. Because I can. That's what I'm hearing Andy back here. If you wanted to leave that piano on and turn on your harmony, you could have done that as well. So all this is doing is teaching you where things are on your organ so that you can go, oh, that's actually pretty cool. So then we're going to play a 4, and that's in the middle of the page, Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Now I'm doing an octave. So I did do up and down an octave a couple times. Why? Because just to be a little different. That's something else that you can do just to give it a little bit of a change.
And Dawn, where did you go up the octave?
I went up the octave at the bottom of page 4, Ain't Too Proud. The last half measure. So you can actually write 8 VA, and you can put dotted lines all the way across the top line, all the way into first, second, third ending, and then where you have A3, A5, and A6, you can also put in loco. What does loco mean?
As written.
Go back to the original location. Yes, if you think of loco and location, you put your hand back down to the original location.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And that's just something optional. Just something optional that you can do. All right, so now I'm going to put in a saxophone solo. So I'm going to leave everything in the background the same. And I'm going to a category preset, and I'm going to go to big band number 2, which is a tenor breathy sax. So I'm leaving my background exactly as is, and we're going to put in a saxophone solo just for something completely different this time. Now, if you guys have Fake It, this organ doesn't have Fake It, so I'm just going to play what's here. If you have Fake It, you may want to try putting your Fake It on and just either noodling, or if you've got a Liberty or a Marquee, touch a black key and it's going to go and do its own thing. See how that sounds. See if you like it. Or just play what's there. And right there, if you wanted to throw in a duet, you can. All right, so I just did something. I just took that third time through and said, you know what? I'm sick of you guys singing. I'm going to bring in an instrumental. So we brought in the saxophone. And actually, there is a sax solo in there in the original. So that just breaks it up a little bit. All right, then when we go back to the beginning for the final time for A6, we're going to just press A4. You've already done it. You press A4, and we're going to do a little bit to it though. We're going to turn the alter style on. We're going to turn our choir off in the edit style, and we're going to turn off the harmony. But we're starting with A4. Then you're going to memorize it to A6. And then A6 goes back and plays that first verse. And then A7, all you're going to do is turn that duet on for here. So here's the last time through. Okay. This is really different. Let's listen from A5, the background, to A6. Why is that so different? Because it's the alter style. So it gave me a tambourine. It's keeping what I did for edit style, but it's just changing how it's being played. So it completely changed that background. That's the last ending. So that fourth time you go to that last ending, which it only changes one note. And if you want, you can just play that last ending over and over until it fades out. Just fade it out. So, love or hate the Temptations, they weren't my favorite group, but they did some great songs. This was just one I was unfamiliar with. So I took it, easy chords, your chords, it's an easy song to play, and made it difficult by teaching you some of the things in the organ. Now, you don't have to do any of this. If you find a good rhythm, find a good rhythm and you find a good sound, just play the song and have fun. And just either change presets or poke different sounds or play with your harmonies. I didn't even do anything with transpose. You could also do a transpose at the end of 1 through 3 endings.
Oh.
That would also give you a little bit something fresh to do. I didn't do it here, but you could. So this is what we're actually doing, is we're learning how to be arrangers. Ooh. All right,
Dawn?
it's kind of a fun song. Yes, Robert.
Question about beats 2 and 4. That's the backbeat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you look at the music and tell whether your rhythm needs to have accent on the 2 and the 4?
What I do is I listen to YouTube. Yes, you listen to YouTube, and I usually write in where those beats are. And the drummer in this case is actually 4 on the floor. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, which this background doesn't really cater to. The cha-cha had 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
So the cha-cha was actually, and I could have actually started with that, and I didn't. I found this one later and went, oh my God, listen to this. No genie, no orc plus, it's all off. But what this is missing is that guitar player. See, then it gets into that Latin offbeat stuff. The guitar player doing the upstrokes was actually better on the gospel. So I sacrificed if I can combine the cha-cha drummer with the guitar upbeats, and I usually mark that in my music. I'll say guitar, 2 and 4, drums, 1 and 3 or whatever it happens to be. Bass is doing 1 and 3, drums doing 2 and 4. I'll usually make that notation in my music while I'm listening to YouTube so that it'll help me when I go to finding a rhythm. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully this is also turning you into more active listeners. Because a lot of times we just listen to a song and go, oh, that's a great song. Love to dance to it, love to listen to it. Why? What's so great about it? What do you love about it? This is actually dissecting everything in the song so we can actually learn, oh my gosh, the drummer's doing this. The drummer's got some clapping or drummer's got clapping going on or not. So it just makes you a little bit more of an active listener. Now, if you don't feel like working that hard, don't. You don't have to. Everything that I'm telling you is completely optional, but it does help you to understand what's going on with your fabulous instruments.
Dawn,
Yeah.
got a question. I think you said you put the sax in solo 1 in the upper. Is that correct?
All I did, no, I actually went to a category. I didn't go to any of my sounds. I just kept it easy, and I went to big band number, what is it, number 2?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just went to a category preset and just pressed a category preset. So your background stayed the same, but my preset changed, and I did not have to go up here to my orchestrals and solos at all. I just went to
Okay. Yeah, I
category
misunderstood that.
preset.
That's
Made
on
it
the
a-
instruction
Yeah,
sheet. Right?
it's here. It's here. It makes it a lot easier. I'm telling you, if you use what your organ has, it does make it a lot easier. But by dissecting every little piece of it, you're actually learning and listening to what's going on. Sometimes you listen to a background and you go, you know, it's close, but I just don't like it. Right? Has it ever happened to you? Yeah. You're looking for the right background and you go, then it's not really what I want. So you either get away from it and try something different, and that's fine. Or you say, it's close, it's what is it missing? And then you listen to the original and go, you know what? I'm missing a guitar. I need a guitar in there, or I need horns. So if you need that in your background, you can do one of 2 things. You can do the edit style and replace one of those instruments with the instrument that you want to hear. Or you can just say, you know what? I'm just going to take that sound that I'm hearing and put it in my melody. And sometimes that's all you need to do. So for people that have easy 4s, easy 10s, and you can't edit style, what do? Well, you can't change the background either. So you can kind of jerry-rig it by saying, I can't change the background, but I can add it to my melody sounds.
Okay.
So if you wanted to put some brass in along with that, you remember how we put the piano and we put the piano with the organ? You could have actually just gone in and said, I don't even want the piano. I want to put some brass in there.
Okay.
Or I want to put a trumpet in there, or I want to put a saxophone along with my organ. So yeah, you can add some of those sounds to the melody, even if you're hearing them in the background, because it'll keep that same flavor of what kind of a band it really is.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Motown, yeah, David, I went to Motown right off the bat, and it just didn't work for this song. Like I said, if you've got a marquee, grand marquee, see if there's some other funky type backgrounds that you might be able to use. I know you guys have some extra Michael Jackson stuff, but I have a feeling those are going to be too modern and too not right for this either. Honest and truly, I think this gospel was probably the best way to go on this, because I did spend quite a bit of time on this song. I do have fingering for you, that those of you who need it. Next week we will do All You Need Is Love, doing some Beatles. So we'll see what we can do with that one. I haven't done a lot of these songs, so this will be interesting for me as well to do 60 songs. You guys are the awesomest. Happy New Year. I'm sorry that we're still having some problems with getting on the right link for this Wednesday class. I'll talk to Robert about it and see what we need to do to fix that. Or just remember, go to the website and come in through the website. Okay? Linda, you did
Hey,
finally
Dawn.
get on. I'm glad. Good.
All right, thank you.
All right. If you need fingering, stick around, get your pencils out. Let's do some work. All right. B2, E5, B2, A1, G3, circle it. That is a crossover. G3, E1, E1, G3, E1, B5, G3, A4, G3, second line E1, E1, G3, G3, E1, B5, G3, E1, G3, G3, E1, 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 G3. So far pretty boring, right? Third line, B5, E3, E1, I'm sorry, G3, A4, B5, A4, G3, E1. Okay, here's where I started going, well, which one's going to be the easiest? Let's try something different here. E1, G2, G2, E1, B4. End of the line, G2, B4, G2, G2, E1, G2, B4, E1, G2, 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 D1. E1, G2, G2, E1, high E5, D4, E5, B2, A1. You might want to put a little arrow on this next note and make it a 4, B4, G2, E1, G2. First through third endings, B4, B4, G2, 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 D1. Final ending, B4, B4, G2, 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 or whatever finger gets there first. Whatever. Okay. Okay. All right. Perfect. Any questions before we go? Easy song, and yes, I did make it ridiculous hard. Why? Because I can. Because I'm a pain. Andy says because I'm a pain. Remember, the most important thing to a lot of this pop music is finding the right rhythm, the right music style, the one that's going to make that song talk to you. Do that first and get the right one. And if you find one that works for you, then whatever preset you want to use or combination, then it's up to you. But if you don't have that right rhythm going, the whole song is just going to kind of go, it doesn't really sound. So finding that right rhythm is the most important thing that you do. And remember, you are in control of a lot of the things that the rhythm can do. Even on the Easy 4 and Easy 10, you've got that style volume that you can turn all the way down. I see Fred shaking his head, yep. Or just put it on just a little bit. So you can control some of it to a degree. So yes, you are in control of how that background sounds for your song. You guys are the bestest. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next week. Some of you I'll see on Friday, and hopefully we will get some of this other stuff taken care of. All right.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thank
Who
you.
changed all this? I don't see any chats. Huh. No. Usually I can see people's chats. Show chat previews. There it is. Okay. All right. No, still can't see them. No, oh well. I'm still trying to figure out the new updated Zoom. We'll see you guys next week.